And his lap time's about 0.3 of a second slower than Greg Biffle.
And of course, Dale Earnhardt Jr., he got his very first NEXTEL Cup win here in his rookie season in 2000, as well as his very first Busch Series win in 1998.
Junior's win was the one that set the record for leaders and lead changes. Jeff Gordon, you see from Kevin Harvick's roof cam. Maybe too much has been made about Gordon never having won at Texas. We've only come here 8 times.
What a great problem to have.
Yes.
He's won at every racetrack before on the circuit.
Like I said, he's got 71 wins and 4 championships, but you never won at Texas.
Horace Sett goes a lap down.
Good thing about this year, you get 2 chances. So,
right.
You know, maybe he'll then get it this time or get it the next time. I've been watching Biffle, and I'll tell you, he is not slowing down one bit. I want you to watch him come off turn 4 here. Right here he comes. Yo, that's Greg Biffle at his finest.
Yes,
right
it
there.
is.
That's what he does best. Then we switch over to turn 2 and watch Jeff Burton.
I think we were riding with him a while ago when that happened.
The tires are starting to, you know, it's getting that point in a run where your tires are starting to get a little grip.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he got it.
Close shave. Here's Dick Berggren on the second-place car.
Well, Michael Waltrip is having his best points-paying race of this entire season today. Let's remember that his first 2 races of the year, he had engine DNFs. In Las Vegas, extra stops to fix a fender. In Atlanta, speeding penalty. Bristol, late stop for vibration. Martinsville, a crash. And so crew chief Tony Uri is on the radio about every 10 or 15 laps. His message to Michael, take care of your stuff, and we got a caution for debris.
Caution for debris.
On the front straightaway, NASCAR had been looking at a piece of debris for some time, and either it moved or was judged to be a hazard to the oncoming cars. And if you've ever seen one of these race tires cut in cross-section, they are so thin compared to your passenger car tire, they couldn't, well, they might be able to run over a speed bump, but I doubt it.
Well, and when they get hot and they get this far into a run, it doesn't take much at all to cut one of them down.
And I know I talked to Goodyear engineer Rick Campbell yesterday, and he told me they actually went with a little thinner rubber on the right side tire here because it makes it run a little bit cooler. That caution is very timely for Terry Labonte, Mike Wallace, Mike Bliss, Bill Elliott, because they were not that far from going a lap down to our leader, Greg Biffle.
There's a piece of metal debris. That would certainly create havoc with one of these tires. So we're under caution for the 6th time today at lap 123.
We're about 2/3 away through that run, so pretty much you can safely say about all 30 or 31 cars on the lead lap will be to pit road to get 4 tires. You see Robbie Gordon, the 7 car there right behind Greg Biffle. He will get the free pass, be back on the lead lap. But this is, I think this caution was needed for a lot of race cars that were about to go a lap down.
Yeah, even Dale Jarrett and Elliott Sadler running up there in 25th and 26th spots. They wasn't that far from getting in trouble. They're going to have to do some work on those cars if they're going to get up there and run for the win again this year.
It's very hot here. These windshields starting to get dirty and sandblasted. NASCAR just gave the teams an extra man, the 8th man, and all that man can do is clean the windshield or pull a tear off the windshield or service the driver. No other functions can that man do as he goes across the wall.
Time for the pit crews to spring into action once again. Matt?
The leader, Greg Biffle, will bring the leaders down onto pit road. Now, he was telling his crew chief, Doug Richard, the car was free, especially down in 3 and 4, and a little bit tight. He wants him to work most on the center. They're not going to change the air pressure. He doesn't want to start any lower than he did on the last stop. So they're going to make a chassis adjustment, which is already completed, as they come around to the left side of the car to Jeannie Zalasko.
The 42 of Jamie McMurray saying it's loose coming into the pits, but please do not mess with it because I think it's working good that way. Steve?
Jeannie, Kurt Busch got 4 tires, air pressure adjustments. He said the track is tightening up. He is tight from the center off. Dick Berggren.
Michael Waltrip did a great job of parking his race car, and his crew has done a great job as well. Will he beat the 16 out? Looks like he did it.
I tell you what, that Napa team, they got her done that time on that pit stop. You see the race off pit road. Michael Waltrip gains that one important position. Matt Kenseth, he really got off of pit road good as he left his pit stall. And you see right there, Ricky Rudd, that group, and Mark Martin all gaining positions. This will be the time off pit road as far as including the pit stop. There you see Michael Waltrip, Matt Kenseth, guys that gained the most positions, gained positions as well. Jeremy Mayfield, Casey Mears in the red, the slowest times. And now we'll look at the race off through our camera at the end of pit road. Just barely, but barely counts. Michael Waltrip wins the battle over Greg Biffle.
Tony Eury Jr. and a happy Napa team. They'll be P1 on the restart.
The Samsung Radio Shack 500 on Fox is brought to you by the next Ford F-150, built Ford tough. By Cialis. Cialis is here. Ask your doctor if a free sample of Cialis is right for you. By the new Singular, raising the bar. And by Old Spice. Keep cool, smell great. A lot to be done here. Michael Waltrip leads Greg Biffle and Kurt Busch. But next Saturday night, under the lights in Phoenix, Jeff Gordon said on the pre-race show, hey, night racing, love it, bring it on, want more of it. Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s won the last 2 races in Phoenix. Prime time action in high definition, only on Fox. We hope you'll be there.
Greg Biffle all over Michael Waltrip, looking for a way by on this restart and not finding one.
Last restart, Michael's car was really fast for a couple of laps, but I think Biffle just gets off of turn 2 so well. I mean, that thing rockets up out of there.
There you see Greg Biffle just pulls the bottom of the racetrack off into turn 3. Looks like he's going to bring his teammate Kurt Busch in the 97 car as well.
Yeah, right now, even though the high line is not a bad thing to do later on, it's not going to work very well right now because everybody's on fresh tires.
There you talked about it a little while ago. Right now we have 3 Roush cars, 1, 2, 3. And there goes Jamie McMurray in the 42 car in that Dodge Charger.
Whoa, Stewart got Michael real bad loose up off of 2, and he almost crashed.
Michael continues to lose position. Tony Stewart goes by him. Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the 8 car. I'm sorry, that's actually Casey Kane in the 9, as well as his teammate Jeremy Mayfield.
Casey Mears to the bottom, tickles the grass on the quad oval as he gets under Mayfield. Big knot of cars. Waltrip stuck up on the outside. Now, single file.
Either side, you're clear.
Darrell, it's like when they drop that restart flag and you gotta go. You got 2 laps to take maybe your one best shot at making the pass.
Yeah, you got it. You know, when you got new tires on that thing, you got to go like crazy because you know they're going to fall off a little bit.
4 of the 5 Roush cars in or just outside the top 10. Carl Edwards was involved in the first crash of the day when Dave Blaney spun in the back straightaway. Had some front end damage. That's probably affected the aero on his car. So Edwards soldiering on in 18th and making a try on Ryan Newman here.
Mike, what's so interesting is we watch all these other Roush cars go to the head of the pack. They were all looking at the 99 car of Carl Edwards and saying, hey, he has really got the best car of all of us. And probably, as you had pointed out, when he went down across this grass, messing up the nose and probably knocking the front end out of a line, it's going to make this team have to work extra hard to get that 99 car back up where his teammates right now are.
Tony Stewart, Casey Mears, Michael Waltrip. 6th place.
42 around the 17 for 3rd place. Made that look pretty easy. Actually, Matt pulled down a little bit. I was wondering if, you know, we talked about 16 had a tire problem. 9 maybe had a tire problem. Anybody, I think Matt may have the answer to that.
Doug Richard and the crew looked over Greg Biffle's tires. Nothing looked amiss. They looked at the wheels to make sure there weren't any loose lugs, checked for a possible equalized tire. Nothing that they could point to as to why he had the vibration.
Well, the good thing is, Matt, is we've had 2 long green runs that they've been able to look at these tires. But what equalize means is we're at a super speedway, a speedway where they run an interliner safety shield. It's a tire within a tire. And normally you have about a 12 to 15 pound differential in the air pressure. But if the pressure leaks over, both pressures in both tires will be the same and cause one heck of a vibration for that driver.
Yeah, that's a little tire inside a big tire. It just keeps you out of trouble if you have trouble with that outer one.
14th place race right here. Dale Jr., Kevin Harvick, Jimmy Johnson, as Casey Kane and McMurray once again go side by side. This time it's for third. Jeannie?
Well, Jamie McMurray coming into the pits last time, basically talking about the same vibration everyone else was complaining about, and whether there's any comfort in the masses in misery. That's what his crew chief, Donnie Wingo, said. Look, everybody's talking about the vibration, but the thought process here is that maybe there is just rubber that is being built up on the rotor that's causing the problem too. But they're checking out the tires that you see right here that they just took off of the car, making sure it wasn't a problem with a lug nut as well.
I tell you another thing that sometime on a super speedway can bother a driver is the brake rotor itself, because you run so long without using the brakes. If you use them real hard one time, they superheat and they'll warp a little bit, and from then on you just got a vibration all day long, and you think it's a tire, but it's actually a brake rotor.
Now what they're actually looking at, they're not looking at the tire right here, they're looking at the rim. Remember, we had the problems last week, Tony Stewart in the 20 car. We've had problems with Jeff Gordon. They're making sure they see no signs of cracking on the inside of that rim.
Steve, what did Casey Kane's crew learn about tires and wheels?
Mike, I was just listening to Casey Kane. He's also saying now that he feels a vibration again on that race car. Again, I just followed up with Bob Askin, the tire specialist. One thought is that the tire pressure didn't build up enough, but a lot of these drivers today are talking about that vibration.
The other thing that these teams do is they drop the air pressure in the outer tire as well as the inner liner. And sometimes that outer tire will squish into the inner liner, and you will have a vibration.
We've been talking about Casey Mears in the 41 car. This backup car, he just drove by Matt Kenseth in the 17. That moves Casey Mears up into the top 5 in 5th position.
Climbing into the top 10.